Let me ask you a question. If you're in a car accident and there's a child car seat in your vehicle, even if no child was sitting in it at the time, are you legally required to replace that seat? And if you don't, could that decision come back to haunt you? Colorado just passed a new law that affects insurance companies, parents, and anyone who drives with kids. But what the law actually requires versus what it strongly encourages isn't being explained very clearly. So today, I want to slow this down, clear up the confusion, and walk you through what this new law really does and what it means to you. Hi, I'm Eric with the Airing of Grievances, and today I want to talk about something that every parent, caregiver, and driver in Colorado needs to know about: the brand new law that just took effect on January 1st regarding child car seats, crashes, and your insurance coverage. This is one of those things where the law and safety intersect in ways that can affect your family if you ever have the misfortune of a crash. So stick with me. I'm going to make it clear what this law actually requires, what it does not require, and what you absolutely should do to protect the ones you love. Colorado legislators passed House Bill 251179 in 2025, and it goes into effect this year. Now, the wording on this can be a little confusing because a lot of people hear law and think you must do this or else. What this statute actually does is change insurance requirements, not general child seat safety rules. Under the law, if your car is involved in a crash and you file an insurance claim, your insurer is legally required to include coverage for the replacement cost of any child restraint system, that's car seats or booster seats, that was in your vehicle at the time of the crash. And they're supposed to ask you whether one was present. That's the core of what the statute says. In plain language, the insurer has to offer coverage. It doesn't say that you independently have to buy a new seat because the law says so. Let me zoom out for just a minute and talk about why Colorado felt the need to do this now. Over the last decade, vehicle design has changed dramatically. Cars are heavier, EVs are heavier, crumple zones and airbag deployment patterns, and crash dynamics are very different than they were even 10 or 15 years ago. At the same time, car seats have become more sophisticated and more expensive. A quality child car seat today can easily cost several $100s. For a family with multiple kids, that can add up fast. What lawmakers were seeing was this: parents were doing everything right, getting into an accident that wasn't their fault, and then quietly reusing a car seat because replacing it would cost hundreds of dollars out of pocket. This law exists to remove that financial hesitation. Not because parents are careless, but because real-world decisions get made under financial pressure. Colorado lawmakers essentially said, if safety equipment is compromised in a crash, money should not be the reason it stays in use. So what does that mean for you? What that means is this: when you call your insurance company after a crash and you report the collision, they have to ask, was a child restraint system in the vehicle? If it was, they have to cover the replacement cost under whatever coverage applies. That might be collision coverage or uninsured motorist property damage, depending on the specifics of your policy. This change is big because many parents were surprised in the past to find out that their insurer wouldn't cover the cost of a new car seat, even after a crash, or they made them jump through hoops to get it reimbursed. The new law says the coverage has to be included. Now here's a key distinction. The law doesn't say that you are legally required to replace the seat no matter what. Colorado's child restraint statute requires that children are properly secured while you are driving. That's about harnesses, boosters, belts, ages, and weights. But there's no Colorado statute that explicitly makes you criminally or civilly liable simply for not replacing the seat after a crash. Those child restraint laws are about use during driving, not post-crash obligations. That said, Safety experts like the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and car seat manufacturer guidelines strongly recommend replacing the seats after moderate or severe crashes, even if the seat looks fine. That's because forces from a crash can cause internal damage that your eye can't see. So legally, you aren't going to be cited for not replacing a seat, but ethically and safety-wise, and for the protection of your child in a future accident, this is a big deal. Now let's talk about the gray area that causes most of the confusion, what people call a minor accident. I hear this all the time. It was just a bump. No airbags went off. Barely any damage. And here's the problem with that kind of thinking. The car seat doesn't experience the crash in the same way that you do. Even a low-speed collision can transmit force through the vehicle structure into the seat shell, the harness anchors, or the energy-absorbing materials inside the seat. And those components are not designed to be inspected visually. That's why the manufacturers and safety experts consistently say the same thing. You often can't see whether a seat is compromised. This is also why the law doesn't try to define what level of crash requires replacement. Instead, it shifts the burden away from parents and onto insurers, because arguing about whether a crash was minor enough is exactly how replacement coverage used to get denied. Now, I want to be very careful here, because this is where people jump to conclusions, but it's also where clarity matters. As I said earlier, Colorado law does not create a separate crime or citation for failing to replace a car seat after a crash. However, and this is important, liability is a different conversation than legality. If a child were injured in a future accident while seated in a restraint system that had been involved in a prior crash, there is a very real possibility that questions would be asked. Questions like, was the seat previously compromised? Was replacement recommended? Was coverage available and then declined? I'm not saying that automatically makes someone liable. I'm saying that choosing not to replace a seat when replacement was available could complicate things later. This is one of those moments where doing what's safest also happens to be the cleanest decision from a liability standpoint. When the insurer is required to cover replacement, the smart move is usually to take that option and remove the question entirely. Now, let's talk about what you're likely to encounter in real life when you get to this coverage. Many insurers, not because the law says so, but because of their own claims processes, may ask you to disable the old seat before they pay you for a new one. That can include cutting the straps and taking pictures so that the seat can't be reused or resold. That isn't spelled out in the statute, but it is a practice that many frontline claims adjusters are asking for. If you're asked for proof like that, know this. It's not coming from the Colorado statute. It's coming from insurer practices. And many parents find that it's the only way the adjuster will issue payment, so plan on documenting everything. So what should you do if you're in a crash? First, always check on everyone's safety. That goes without saying. Second, when you're talking to your insurance company, tell them clearly that a child restraint system was present and ask for replacement cost coverage under your claim. That triggers the legal requirement for them to include it. Third, take pictures of the old seat and any damage. Note the model and serial number, and if they ask you to disable it for proof, do so in a way that you can document. Fourth, and this is the part that matters even if the insurer covers it, don't put a potentially compromised seat back in service. Many manufacturers and safety authorities say that even if you think the crash was minor, internal damage may reduce the seat's effectiveness. In other words, the insurer covering the cost doesn't diminish the safety obligation that you have to your child. There's also a bigger takeaway here that fits squarely with what we talk about here on the airing of grievances. This law exists because insurers were not consistently doing this on their own. Some covered replacement, some didn't. Some required extensive justification, others just quietly denied it unless the customer pushed back. Laws like this don't appear in a vacuum. They appear when consumer experiences show a pattern. And that's why knowing your rights matters. Not because you're trying to fight with your insurer, but because you shouldn't have to negotiate for safety equipment after an accident. When you understand that this coverage is now required to be a part of the claim conversation, you level the playing field. That's what consumer-focused legislation is supposed to do. Now, I've been talking to people who have already been dealing with some of this in claims. Some insurers are clear and cooperative. Others are telling parents that they won't issue payment until the old seat straps have been cut and photographed. That's real, and it means you need to be prepared with documentation and clear communication. That's how things are getting handled on the ground today. It's not optional, it's just part of the claims process. Colorado's intent here is good. Remove financial barriers to replacing a child safety device that might save your kid's life in the next crash. But it's important to know what the law is actually doing. It's a requirement on insurance coverage, not a criminal mandate on parents to replace seats at all costs. Know your rights. Ask for the coverage you're legally entitled to. And above all, make decisions that protect your children's safety first. I hope this clears up the confusion around this new law. If you found today's explanation helpful, share it with a friend or a family member who drives with kids. I'm Eric. Thanks for watching The Airing of Grievances. Stay safe out there. Happy Saturday. We'll see you next week.